Can I say something about Sonic 3 as a grown man without embarrassing myself? No? On today's episode of Why Do I Care About This? Sonic, friendly Sega mascot or beloved trash meme icon? I don't know. Does the mere mention of his name cause internal wheezing from the average millennial? Where did all those thoughts regarding a franchise I was once convinced not to care about come from? Why am I here? 2008 is why, but before a nostalgia vent, I should justify the validity behind my imminent snobbery aimed at the third installment in the Sonic the Hedgehog franchise. Mind you that my wholesome origin story involved a few Sonic titles, and as divisive as some of them might have been, they too raised me, and my ego's not getting in the way of me having thoughts about a property told to be only enjoyed ironically if not by a small child or the average rodent. All this to say that it's been a losing battle against those baby movie allegations. Not even shots of Ryuko the Hedgehog kneeling in front of Maria's hidden or disintegrated corpse, Astro Boy 2009 style, can hide the minion vibes oozing off of every trailer I've seen for these. Serving Despicable Me meets The Gray Man. Nefarious combo of stylistic mediocrity, though I can at least notice less of an aversion towards actual contrast, which is worth applauding from a modern American blockbuster, a set of the daytime and nighttime scenes seemingly graded and shot by two completely different production teams. Nonetheless, those city lights and red neons are pretty thirst-quenching. Shadow looks crispier than ever. Big fan of the more prominent quills on these boys. They didn't just drag and drop the most recent Shadow model into a new project. This shot gave some Shadow fan a heart attack. Honestly, I get it. A few genuinely well-composed shots clearly taken on location are sticking out like a mean clove in a sauceless bowl of rice. Let it also sink in that a Sonic movie is now better lit than the average Kevin Feige project. Hilarious thing to notice, yet I remain bothered by something and I wish I didn't care, but I also didn't ask for cutscenes from mid-tier Sonic games to be made as if with the intention to raise and inspire a whole new generation of storyboarders and animators, still holding up to this day. Sonic writers planted the seeds for my anime obsession to later spread like a virus, but Sonic Unleashed, literal game changer and major component to my aesthetic awakening, schooled me on Sauce 101 before Matrix Reloaded did. Quick hack to give your main character aura the moment he steps in. Keep his face hidden in his intro shot. Then you just abuse of all the virtual camera tools to create this grounded yet dynamic, seemingly unconstrained visual aesthetic from snap zooms to lens manipulation, perfectly complementing Sonic graciously skipping through the set piece in a way which somehow still exudes the pacing of a game level only in a cinematic format. They cooked. The whole thing is bordering on overstimulation as any Sonic level should, riddling that scene with lights reflected on that repeated red metallic surface, but I assume you could only do so much in 2008 with your rendering engines. And yet, this dominating overall shiny polish is fitting for a Sonic set piece. It's got flair. It's like a techie car commercial shot on an evil space lair, and instead of a Mercedes, it's a mouse on speed. I sure do miss Sonic being depicted as more of a menace. Eggman's just a guy tasked to retrieve that one benign-looking SCP, destroying government property like he's the Tasmanian devil with double the swagger. A genuine problem, and he's never looked this good, leaving me with so many questions. Like, why is this cutscene directed as if competing with Assassin's Creed? Who thought it was a good idea to crush everything I was obsessing about at the time into a 6-minute sequence? Me when I'm the target audience. It's the Matrix, it's Revenge of the Sith. It's Iron Man, it's Final Fantasy, it's Deep Impact, it's someone's favorite Roland Emmerich film, it's Iron Man, it's a bad 90s Bond film, yet all made just as sincere as all the things it might actually be inspired by. Referential yet independently cool. Why would you do that? Because they love us, of course, I know, but spoiling your kids never ends well. I'm the living proof, complaining about finding the filmmaking in the Sonic movies to be subpar to some cutscene I thought everyone forgot about until I found my people on Reddit. Also not good. So, if crazy enough to even make a live-action Sonic movie, sorry, plural, movies, why not use all of this as a stylistic and aesthetic reference? It's right there, ripe for cinematic translation. Why aren't the Sonic movies like this? That look more like live action than whatever those are, not only for somehow having more texture than any of this, but also thanks to actually exploring and mimicking all of a camera's actual functions for style, making up for the somewhat dated rendering quality. Obviously not an issue in Sonic 3 having a Hollywoodian budget and made in 2024. The problem is how stiff and lacking in flow it all is, with the camera feeling completely disinterested in trying to complement the movement being captured or at least compensate for the character animation, timed as if they were moving through water instead of air. Then there's trying to execute fighting concepts done so much better decades earlier, making it even sadder. Copying the Wachowski sisters is always a losing battle, with Kung Fu Panda as a bizarre exception to the rule and a better example to point at where I think those Sonic movies are lacking in terms of animation. I'm talking about the timing of the hits being thrown, visceral, lightning fast, yet so clear for the eye to read. None of that here. 2008 really had it, didn't it? This cutscene, me discovering the Wachowski sisters, the financial crisis, Kung Fu Panda, and the latter will always be my go-to argument against mediocrity being justified for being targeted towards a younger demographic. Good game design will be appreciated by all ages, the very thing which protects the best Sonic games out there from being referred to as mainly made for toddlers. The same applies to good filmmaking, and I just wish that principle was translated into those Sonic movies. Undo that stiffness by squatch and stretching the guy. He looks weird enough already for a few cartoon animation principles not to break suspension of disbelief. It would have been like adding those expressive lenses to Spidey and Deadpool. You all love it. I wouldn't mind the compromise of turning Sonic into a Deadpool mini-adjacent character as much if there still was an attempt to recapture half of all the visual zest, still making every shot worth a deconstruction, proving that nostalgia has nothing to do with this scene still living in my head rent-free. Now, those are apparently directed by someone mostly known for having been an animator for Shadow the Hedgehog. Forget about my gripes for a sec. Isn't this objectively winning at life? Shadow is to him what E.T. is to Steven Spielberg. Good for him, and I can't deny the win that is this career trajectory. It just makes me feel worse about finding this to be a rare instance of that assumed stronger instinctual film language from an animation background not making it through live action. I'm also seriously not a fan of the Americanization on display, and all for the worse, and my face fell deeper into my hands when I recognized the combined themes being remixed by the trailer track. You lower the main character's IQ for humor's sake because God forbid you enjoy a colorful character who's colorful just for the sake of it. Playing these games as a child never necessitated forced humor to validate the colorful, fun nature of it all. You can't just look funny and be cool nowadays. The MC and his companions now also need to be presented with the same visual connotation as the trendiest film ensemble. It's the Avengers using Sonic character models. It's Hobbs and Shaw, but with Sonic. He just reads as a placeholder for any other lead for some action blockbuster, making it feel less like a Sonic movie and more like a movie featuring Sonic and friends. But were those ever even the Sonic movies? A Robotnik compilation being the probable cause of me maybe watching these feels wrong. Jim aside, it all seems cheap, hackneyed, tired, and everything your uncle hates about American high-budget cinema. It's Scorsese's next hospital bill. It's not good. I can see my 8-year-old self be somewhat excited for this, but I'm damn sure he'd still be having trouble pointing out why he wouldn't be coming out of this one with the same rush as he would after checking those 6 minutes of animated flexing. The sauce is lacking. None of that anime-adjacent energy coming out of this. That cutscene now almost hurts to go back to. The consequences of having a good childhood. I was fed too good, spoiled, now stuck with standards claimed to be too unrealistic for commercial art. Shake my damn head. I choose not to live in the dystopia where mediocrity is pardoned, or even celebrated if under a thick veil of irony. Have all the film-loving Sonic enjoyers left this plane of existence, leaving only me to yearn for the visual, stylistic earnestness that made me a Sonic fan in the first place? Have I gone crazy for wanting such a thing out of the Sonic movie in the year 2024? Does caring about art warrant the title of weird freak? Not in my books, damn it. I'll ask for high art from the Banjo-Kazooie adaptation if it ever comes to that. I've never played a single one of those. I just wish it for the fans because we're chill like that. I didn't ask for Sonic Unleashed to have one of my favorite opening cutscenes to this day, and yet here I am, burdened with thoughts and opinions about things I wish I could swear I didn't care for. Every day I wake up, from dreams of a better Sonic movie. I just want this madness to end. Anyways, how you been?